more you practice, the better you get,
Yeah.
really comes into practice or comes into play.
Yep.
I mean, how many times have we heard that growing up? You
Right.
know, you have to read to read better.
Yeah.
You know,
And, and let me
once we
clarify one
fix that, go ahead. Sorry.
thing. Yeah, because that statement you said is really important. The more you practice, the better you get. But only if one condition exists, if you have the skills. So if
Right.
you're properly practicing the skills, because you now have phonological awareness and you have decoding skills, and your brain is beginning to memorize sight words because you're more easily sounding them out, you now have all these systems working. The practice is going to give you greater gains. We have longitudinal studies of like over 5 years where you show a small gap at age 7 in first grade. If we do nothing to change those foundational deficits in phonological awareness and decoding skills, we don't change those as soon as possible, that gap's going to be bigger at second grade. And again, do nothing that gets bigger at third, fourth, fifth. And by the time you hit fifth grade, one study showed that your reading comprehension skill at fifth grade will be 3.5 grades behind your peers who came to school in first grade with fully developed phonological awareness and early literacy skills already intact, letter name knowledge strong, visual perception skills strong, and you're both getting the same instruction, but their learning curve is steeper because their brain's building the skills more efficiently. The child who has deficits, their learning curve is happening, and schools will say to parents, he's making progress. You absolutely do not want to hear that because that means he's falling behind. Because a flatter line versus a steeper line, two diverging lines over time just get further apart. That's where that 3.5 grade gap will happen by fifth grade.
Yeah, that always just kills me that we have. I know our educators, our public educators, they want to do the best that they can, and they're trying to teach in just about any method that they can find to help these kids. However, we're still dealing with comments like the more you read to your kid, the less they have a
Yeah.
chance of being dyslexic, or the more you speak to your kid, or the more you do these things. And I want to dispel while there may be some sprinkles of truth in there, because we're talking about that um, experience, right? So the more you're engaged in conversation with your child, or the more they're exposed to those larger words that they wouldn't be able to read at this time. Yes, that's where that statement really comes from. But if we don't have or if we do have the inefficiency in the wiring, it doesn't matter how much you read to them, how much you talk to them. I mean, we read to our boys. I say we. Amy is the part of we that read to our boys all along. And we're constantly talking to our kids, and they still have dyslexia,
Yeah.
thanks
Yeah.
to good old dad.
and dad can blame it on mom or dad grandparent.
Right.
Genetic runs in families. That's all it is.